everyone, thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we have another book haul to talk to you about. So, you know, probably our new favorite place to go is a used bookshop near my daughter's college called Gray Matter Books, and this place is amazing. I love it. But I hadn't been there in because I didn't do the last trip. Anyway, I hadn't been there in over 6 months, so we just went again, and we got a little. We had some nice finds, so we will jump right into it and show you these. So they have a great. It's not all science fiction, mostly, but they have a great little vintage science fiction section. And actually, I took a little footage here to show you because I always like to show you guys, and they changed it this time. It was different. They had changed it since all the other times I had been there, and so just you can get a little bit of an idea here how what they kind of moved around if you've seen any of the old ones. The science fiction section changed a little bit. They used to have a big sort of bin table thing in front of it that had a bunch of old sci-fi magazines and stuff, and that's gone. So I don't know what happened. They have another store actually in Connecticut, which I have not been to, even though that's closer to me, but it's smaller, and so they probably move some of the stuff there. They probably switch them out sometimes. So I have to get there one of these days. Maybe when Gareth finally comes and visits, maybe we'll make a trip up there. Maybe I'll save it for then. So in the meantime, we got some good stuff this last time we were there. So the first thing we got is this. You guys know I love these Ace doubles where it's two novels in one. So this is special. So spatial delivery. I thought it was special. I'm just noticing right now it's spatial. So spatial delivery. Both these stories by Gordon R. Dickson. So this is I don't know much about it. It's you can see the guys on the creature's back, and so these are people from another. These are entities from another planet, and he has to go there. I forget. He's got to do something. And then there's a delusion world. If you don't look, she'll go away. And this has something to do with a utopia where there's two utopias in the same place at the same time or something weird like that. So it must have to do with different universes or something. I don't know. It sounded cool. Okay, so next we picked up this. I've never seen any version of this book out in the wild. This is Edgar Rice Burroughs, The Lad and the Lion. And this one, I think we got this one actually for a buck. Oh no, this was $2. Most of them are $2 at this store. So as you know, we've been picking up. We've been reading a lot of the Tarzan books with our friend Dia over at Novel Idea, and so we've been picking up a lot of other Edgar Rice Burroughs too because we have dabbled a little other Edgar Rice Burroughs, and we plan to read more. So anyway, we didn't have this one, so we picked this up. This is I don't know. There's a European kingdom, and I think this guy is supposed to be assassinated, but he's not. And the lad, I don't know. I don't really know much about it. We're very excited about this find. We found all three. This is by Otis Adalbert Klein, Prince of Peril. I hope you can see those. Prince of Peril. Planet of Peril, and Port of Peril. Unfortunately, somebody wrote in marker on the cover of this one. Looks like they wrote 20 cents. God knows when that was. That was probably back when this thing was published, back in 1949. So I guess these were published originally in the 30s, it looks like. And so these are... So according to the little blurb in the beginning, this is the only guy to rival Edgar Rice Burroughs. So these are... So Edgar Rice Burroughs did the John Carter of Mars books. These are Venusian tales. These are sci-fi fantasy tales on Venus. So this guy and this first book, or I think they're all like this, but this Robert Grandin... So he's living a luxurious life in the 20th century here on Earth, and he's bored, I guess, and so he ends up switching minds with somebody on Venus from long, long ago. Does it say? I forget. Of some millions of years in the past. So I guess when takes the place of a lookalike on Venus when Venus was inhabited apparently millions of years ago. So that's this one, and he like comes under the control of like some prince, a ruling princess or whatever. Prince of Peril, I think. I don't know anything about these besides from just reading the jackets. It looks like this one's about a different character where the same thing happens. Borgin, what's his name? Borgin Takor, of alias Harry Thorne. So Borgin Takor of Mars, alias Harry Thorne of Earth. So this guy gets around. This time he goes to Venus, apparently. So, world traveler, this guy. World's traveler. And so this last port of peril, we come back to that original guy, I guess. Robert Grandin of Earth. So, that's all I know. I don't really know about these, but they just sounded really, really cool. So, and I was really lucky they had all three. So, if you've read this series or any books in this series, let us know. We'd be curious to hear what you guys think. Then we picked up this, A Seahorse in the Sky by Edmund Cooper. Now, we have already read this book, but this book was actually important to us. And we already have this in this version. But as you can see, this is a different cover. And this was just like we had an emotional experience with this book as a sci-fi fan. We did a whole separate video. We did a dedicated video about this book called Nostalgia in Science Fiction and all the memories that this book brought back as a lifelong fan of science fiction. So we just wanted to get it because it was a different cover. This cover's cool too. So we just wanted to get it because the book had meant a lot to us. Okay. And that is the only Edmund Cooper book that we have and that we've read. So we saw a couple more. So we got this, Seed of Light by Edmund Cooper. And this is 10 men and women escaped in the starship, the only home they would know for generations, the seed from which they would build a new race. So it sounds like this is a story about a generation starship, I think. Love stories about generation starships. I mean, I've read a number, and I don't, both like short story and novel, and I don't think I've read any that I haven't enjoyed yet. I just love that theme. So, and we wanted to try more Edmund Cooper since we really enjoyed the other one. And then we also found this one, Transit. And so I don't really know anything about this. It's four people get, what does it say? Four castaways in space and time battle a superhuman and invisible enemy and fear the fruits of victor. So anyway, these four people, they get like transferred to another planet and they got to do battle, whatever. This one is larger type. So I don't know how unusual this is, but I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty large type for one of these vintage science fiction novels. So anyway, so we get to pick that up. And then the last thing we picked up, we got a couple more things to show you, but the last thing we picked up at that store, that shop, was a nonfiction book. This is America Compromised by Lawrence Lessig. So Lawrence Lessig is, I guess, a law professor at Harvard. He comes up, a lot of times with commentary and stuff. He's an expert. And this book is, this is about how, while there is a lot of things, I think this is a relatively recent book, while there is a lot of things going wrong, in particular, in America particularly, that some of this cannot be necessarily attributed to individuals, that these individuals are kind of like just the product of a corrupt system that's been developing. So this came out in 2018, so it's not like based on current events. I mean, relatively current, but it's about how like Congress and the financial district and the media and all these things have all been corrupted over time. People really seeking money and power, and these things have led to the corruption of these institutions. And that is somewhat at the root of the problems that America is experiencing in the current age. So anyway, so it sounded really interesting, especially since that's a topic. That's a general topic that we've kind of been getting educated more on lately. Then we also went to another used bookshop that's pretty close to us that we've mentioned to you guys before, and this is the Westport Bookshop. I didn't. This is in Westport, Connecticut, and I forgot to take footage of it this time, but we've done it before. If I can remember, I'll link it below. It's a very small little bookshop, but it's a really cool place because it's affiliated with the Westport Library, so it supports the library. They also, employ adults with disabilities there. So it's really cool. It's this dual purpose place, and it's just neat. And so, I mean, it can be a little on the pricier side for a used bookshop, but it's still pretty decent, and everything there is in great condition. So, I picked up the book that we discussed in our last video, a political book, the Conspiracy to End America. But we also found this gem. Look at this. DMZ, Compendium 1. So this is a trade paperback of issues 1 through 36 of the comic DMZ. So there's like 72 issues in total in this comic series. So this is the first half, 1 through 36. This volume normally goes like new for $60. We got it for 20. So I usually drop 20 in a used bookshop, but this was a good deal. And so this is basically about future. Art's pretty cool in this, and this is about basically a future civil war in America. So may end up being apropos for today, where basically what do they call them? The free states, like basically the middle southern, what we call red states of America, and the more bluer liberal states, like on the West Coast and the East Coast, they kind of split. And so this kind of follows that. It's a story. I think it's set near New York somewhere, which is one of like the kind of dividing lines, and so it sounds really, really interesting, and it's supposedly pretty good. So if you've read this, by Brian Wood and Riccardo Burchielli, I don't know that guy, but yeah, so it's mature. It's DC Black Label because it's mature book. So let us know if you've read this or if you're interested in reading this, because we're pretty excited about this. We're going to start it like imminently. It'll take us a while to get through because it's pretty thick. It's a chunker, but yeah, we can do that little by little. And then the last thing we got was we were just recently received a book for review, and this is The End by Mark Golding. So we've started to get a little more selective with these sort of review copies of what we'll accept, because we haven't been great about being timely with reviewing them. And so, but this one sounded right up our alley. I don't usually read the backs of books, but let me just read you this one. It's not that long, just to give you why I wanted to review this one. The End begins with a chilling silence, the absence of wildlife in an African safari park, a subtle foreshadowing of the cataclysmic event to come. In London, Martin Larkin, a disillusioned teacher, and Katie, a successful barrister, it's like a lawyer in the UK, are about to face a world far removed from their ordinary lives. The arrival of Bohr's comet, initially a source of global excitement, disrupts technology and throws nature into chaos. As the comet's influence intensifies, Katie undergoes a shocking transformation. She abandons her life with Martin, seeking a radical new identity in Sydney's underbelly. But the comet brings more than personal turmoil. A terrifying illness sweeps across the globe, decimating the population. Society fractures further, and the ABs, a new dominant life form, rise to power. Martin, forced into the role of survivor, navigates a post-apocalyptic world. He grapples with loss, betrayal, and the constant struggle to stay alive. His journey brings him face to face with the remnants of authority and a society forever changed. The end culminates in a heart-wrenching confrontation. Martin must confront the woman he once loved, now a symbol of the transformed world, and define his place in this new, unfamiliar order. Doesn't this sound awesome? This sounds awesome. It's like everything I like about science fiction. So hopefully it reads as well because the plot really sounds good. So yeah, we'll let you know what we think. So all right, so that's it. That's it for our haul, our recent haul. That's that covers everything, right? You didn't have anything else to add, right? Nope. Okay. Oh, you little pick me up. Okay. All right, guys. So let us know if you've read any of these, or you're gonna read any of these, or they sound interesting to you. We're always curious to hear other people's thoughts, and so sometimes very well influences what we do and what we read, what we prioritize. So let us know. So if you don't have anything substantive to say, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji because she does always like to see those, right? Right? So, as always, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you again very soon. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.